Hey. This is Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. Welcome. Just getting started here. It's Saturday afternoon here in Denver, Colorado. I am sitting in the AI Learning Lab, otherwise known as my home office. It is a complete shambles. But I kind of point the camera at the part that's sort of nice looking. You don't want to see the other part. Well, do you? Maybe you do. Huh? What a nightmare. I gotta clean that shit up. So what this channel is all about is learning about AI. I'm learning about AI. As I learn about it, I'm sharing it here, and apparently not doing well with the hair. Wow. That's like, I don't even know what that's like. I need to get another toupee, apparently. Jesus. Anyway, this is the AI Learning Lab. If you're new to AI, if you're curious about AI, I have these URLs up here for your help. Chat.openai.com, that's the official ChatGPT website. Bing.com is Microsoft's search engine, but if you click on the chat button, that's GPT-4. And then Poe.com, you can play with a bunch of different models, including a new one from Anthropic that's got a 100,000 token limit, which is pretty exciting. If you have questions about AI, pop them in the, what are they called? The comments, the little scrolly bits. Pop any questions in there. I'm happy to answer them. My background is I'm an entrepreneur for many, many years, decades actually. I was an innovator back in the early days of the World Wide Web. I started one of the first online magazines and one of the first agencies called agency.com. And I was a chief creative officer there. And so I got to experience what it was like to be at the very beginning of one of these technical revolutions. And the parallels between what was going on with the web and what's going on with ChatGPT and generative AI are insane. I think that this AI stuff's going to actually be significantly more profound than the World Wide Web stuff. And we know how profound that was and how much that changed. Well, if you weren't around for it, you don't know how much it changed it, but everything changed. And yeah, it's going to change everything. So, again, it looks like a bunch of people just joined. My name is Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. The URLs here are just places for you to go play with ChatGPT and some other models. Poe.com in particular has a lot of different things you can play with. You can make bots. If you have questions about AI, pop them in the comments. Just put a comment in there about what the hell's going on with this or that, or whatever. I'll answer what I can. If I can't answer it, I'll try to say that. I try to keep it light. I try to keep it fun. And I try to keep hydrated. Although apparently, why is GPT so dumb? Because it's actually not aware of what it's doing. It's literally a probability engine. I wouldn't call it dumb. I would call it fallible. It's like a really solid intern. That's smarter than any intern in the history of interns. And you can ask it to do stuff for you, and sometimes it just gets it wrong because it's a crappy little intern. But you can ask it anything, and it will know a lot about it. And even if it doesn't know a lot about it, it will tell you that it knows a lot about it. And it will give you confidence that you have the right answer, even if you don't. I like to refer to ChatGPT as mansplaining as a service. ChatGPT helped me develop a machine learning model for trading crypto. Yeah, very cool. It's really good at analyzing stuff and doing things like creating trading bots. What are some jobs to consider in AI? It's hard to know what they're going to be. I think that one of the ones, there's a guy named Mackenzie Bowes who's got this app he's created called GPT Boss, and he talks about AI operations is going to be a good job, meaning there's going to be just literally thousands and thousands of AI services and subscriptions and things you kind of glue together to make other apps. So people sorting through all that technology is going to be a good one. There's lots of talk of prompt engineering, or as I like to call it, prompt crafting. I think that's going to be a prerequisite for almost any job coming. These tools are going to start being incorporated into Microsoft Word and the Google Office Docs. And even at the operating system level, Apple's got a big announcement coming on Monday at their Worldwide Developers Conference. I would be dramatically surprised if they didn't have some big AI announcements. Learn the image stuff, learn the music stuff. I think there's probably, for the next year and a half or two, there's going to be a lot of hunger for people that can just give workshops on what the hell is this stuff? What does it do? What does it make possible? I think my light's a little too bright. That's better. It was hurting my eyes. I feel blood sort of coming down the cheeks. Anyway, but the intern always rolls a 4 on a 6-sided die. What exactly is AGI, and is it even a thing? AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence, and it is a thing, but it is not a well-defined thing. It is generally agreed that it's when these machines get basically smarter than all the humans. I would say on an individual basis, these current GPT models know way more than any of us do individually, and just in terms of knowledge, but in terms of reasoning, they're not anywhere close. Microsoft did a study on ChatGPT. It's a long study. It's like 86 pages, or I forget how long it is. But they did a study on GPT-4, and part of the study was it's showing signs of AGI. But because it's poorly defined and it's subjective, some people think we're on the verge of it right now. Other people think we are, decades away, although there's fewer and fewer of those. Ray Kurzweil talks about the singularity, which he predicts will be 2029. And a lot of other AI scientists have downgraded their prediction from like 2040 or 2035 to 2030. So 2029, 2030 seems to be the consensus of when we'll have some version of the singularity. But here's the deal. This shit's moving so fast that who knows how long this is, how like when we achieve it. For me, it's kind of irrelevant whether or not we label, whether we have AGI. Like, are these tools serving us well and transforming things in a positive way? That's the thing I'm most interested in. How will risk CV impact AI? I don't know what risk CV is, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to ChatGPT. And I'm going to say, ChatGPT, I'm a dum-dum. And dum-dums don't know what is risk CV and how will it impact? Is this the European thing? AI. Let's see. If it doesn't know, I'm gonna have to use. Risk 5 is an open standard of risk principles. Unlike other ISA design, Risk 5 is provided under open source and instruction set architecture as part of the computer architecture. Potential impact of Risk 5 on AI could be significant for the following reasons. There you go. Flexibility and customizability, cost effectiveness, collaborative improvement, promotion of edge computing. So I assume, so what this is talking about is computing is going to get more efficient and cheaper. We need lots and lots of compute. I don't know enough about it to actually answer that, so you don't need to watch me here read ChatGPT, although I'm sure it was scintillating. All right, what happened next week? What was that? What exactly is it reasoning? I'll come back to that. What's happening next week is that your real appearance or you look different. You a ghost. Huh? I don't know. Buck, I don't know what he's talking about. What do we do? I don't know. Maybe tell him to clarify his question. I don't have time for that. Buck. Excuse me. All right. AI will not need us. Learning AI is pointless. We will just exist. Well, maybe AI does all the shitty stuff and we get to exist at a higher level of humanity. That might be nice, so we're not all cogs in a fucking wheel, leading soulless existence, just doing repetitive, soul-crushing work. Wouldn't that be nice? That would be a possibility. What exactly is reasoning? Human reasoning is based on our evolution and natural instincts. Yeah, I don't know. That's getting into a depth of philosophical conversation that is beyond my capacity to have it. So I will let it slide. But basically, as these tools get smarter than we are, shit's going to happen. Shit's hitting some fans. It'll happen no matter how many John Connors there are, too. Listen. Here's the thing about this channel. I was on a panel talking about this AI stuff, and one of the women on the panel who's been in AI for like 15 years said, "Let me interrupt the adorable optimism here." So I've been accused of being an adorable optimist, which I will take. I think it is a bit lazy and all too easy to just go to the robots are going to kill us future. I think it's kind of a boring future. I'm not interested in it. And it's also just like Hollywood's been conditioning us for 50 years that, AI's all evil. I think there's a more interesting future where AI can actually support and amplify humanity. Now, humanity's got good and bad, so as AI amplifies humanity, it's going to amplify the bad as well as the good. But I think if we, like on this channel, can say, hey, why don't, instead of fearing these tools, why don't we lean into them, learn how we can use them, learn how we can make them our bitch, and we get to be the pilot and AI gets to stay the co-pilot. That's the future I am living into. How will AI affect radiology? Well, it's affecting it pretty dramatically, but what's happening in almost all cases with things like, medical stuff is that because you've got insurance companies and liability, you're always going to have a human in the loop there. There was a prediction, I think 5 years ago, that AI would, don't become a radiologist because we ain't going to need them anymore. Now, AI is as good or better than humans at reading scans and things like that, but you still need to have humans in the loop, and probably will for a while. When will I trim that gray nose hair? I'm not going to trim that gray nose hair. I'll pluck it. You guys are fucking rude. All right, I tried the app and it was really cool. Not sure which app, but cool. Is computer science worth it anymore with all the AI innovation? I would not go to school for computer science right now. I think spending a year self-learning all of the new AI stuff, all the new generative AI stuff, is going to be incredibly valuable. Listen, the skills that you learn in a computer science program, they're not going to be wasted, but what they actually teach you may be, right? So here's what I would say. If the computer science program that you're entering or that you're going into is just keeping the status quo and teaching AI off to the side, then I think it's a waste of time. If they're saying, holy shit, AI is changing everything, we're going to absolutely upend our curriculum and go all in on AI, then I think it's probably really interesting. Dominance of machine intelligence, what did that say? Hang on. God damn it, TikTok. Every time I go to scroll, it jumps me to the bottom, and then I got lost. I'm so lost. Jesus, now I'm really lost. All right, hang on, bear with me. Old guy using technology alert. All right, there's the when are you going to trim your nose hairs comment. I found out where I was. Okay. Fucking trolls. All right. What app do you use to screen share? Nothing. This is just TikTok's dual camera. So my back camera's on facing my laptop screen. See, there's my hand in front of my laptop. It's take all jobs. How do people get money? Does it become socialism? I don't know. And socialism is a divisive word, so I don't really give a shit about labels of how it works. I think that universal basic income that Andrew Yang was talking about back in the 2016 election, I think that becomes a potential tool. I think it'll be short term. If you're new here, these URLs here, the top one is the official ChatGPT website. The second one is Bing.com. That's Microsoft's search engine. And that has GPT-4 built into it. And then Poe.com, you can play with a bunch of different models. And you can make your own chatbot. So that's what those are there for. And then prompts.chat and futurepedia.io. Prompts.chat will teach you about prompting and give you a bunch of ideas and examples that are really, really cool. It kind of blows your mind what these things can do. And then futurepedia.io is just a list of all of the thousands of tools that are out there that you could use. Those are trolls. I know. Trolls, but trolls are people too, sort of. People talk about the great filter, but when you have neural systems, this inevitably leads to machine intelligence exploding outwards at the speed of light. Yeah, I agree. And we're seeing that now. I mean, you can see in the past 4 or 5 months, the acceleration is absolutely insane. And every time a new white paper comes out, the dev community pounces on it. And then like a week later, you'll see a new white paper that incorporated that white paper. And so they're mixing and matching, and it's absolutely insane. But it doesn't all necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Apparently, Champ, not excited about AI. Champ, I'm on TikTok. Champ. He doesn't appreciate TikTok Live. Hang on. Champy, stop. All right. What app do I use to screen share? Just answered that. Concern about jobs is rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Max, you're so negative. We're not necessarily going down a black hole of extinction, other than the fact that group of people, including Sam Altman, said we're going down a path to extinction unless we do something about it. I don't necessarily think that wasn't just self-serving for them to slow down the competitors, but, that's just me being cynical. Excellent future idea. Thank you. We don't have true AI yet. True or false? Correct. Right. What we have right now is machine learning. It's not artificial intelligence or AGI. AGI is woefully undefined, so we don't. I don't frankly give a shit if there's a definition, if there's a label that says we're officially AGI. Cha-ching. Sam Altman cares about that because that's why he started that organization. Is there a good way to use ChatGPT to help find the best AI tools for specific AI solutions? That's what futurepedia.io is. There are probably plugins for ChatGPT that are searching AI tool sites. I think I saw one. Let's go look at how many. So if you go to ChatGPT and you have GPT Plus and you've turned on your beta features, then when you roll over GPT-4, you have 3 options. You've got default, browse with Bing, and then plugins. And if you go to plugins, you have your list of installed plugins, and then there's this plugin store. And the plugin store is what it sounds like. It's like the App Store. And if I go to all, let's see, there's 64 times 4, so like 250. There's like 250 plugins. I'm pretty sure there's plugins that are about AI tools. But also you could just go to futurepedia.io, and that's got a list of them. They're all categorized. You can search them. What's hard right now is to know what tools aren't just shitty little cash grabs where someone just threw a wrapper on top of, ChatGPT APIs and put it out there with some slick marketing and said, pay me $30 a month for this absolutely remarkable thing that's just a fly-by-night thing. There's so much of that right now. What I'm doing, the reason I have these URLs up on screen is these are the things that the top 3 in particular, not including image generation stuff like Midjourney, but in terms of like ChatGPT kind of stuff, those are the 3 kind of places that I would go right now. I would focus all my attention on chat.openai.com, or if you don't want to spend any money, just do it at bing.com. I pay for the plus version of chat.openai.com and poe.com for different reasons. We'll have amazing things, including immortality, but it's temporary. Humans are over. Max. You have have a nice beverage. It's not all doom and gloom. It might be good. Sure, it might be good for a while. But listen, quite honestly, we're tanking the planet anyway. So whether AI accelerates that, maybe AI actually helps to fix that and fix the energy crisis and cure cancer and cure genetic disease. They actually, I don't know if you knew this, but the a guy that's been paralyzed for 12 years, they just created a Bluetooth bridge between his brain and his lower spine, and he's walking again. They imaged his brain as he was thinking about moving his legs, and then sent those signals to the base, to the lower part of his spine, and now he's walking again. Still has a way to go, but holy shit. So that kind of stuff's coming. All right, Drago, did you see the second part of... Okay, you guys are talking to each other. That's cool. No point in learning AI. It's like ants learning how to drive a car. My God, it's a dark crowd tonight. It's a dark Saturday night. Are you drinking? Or, if you are, understand. If not, maybe you should be. We try to be optimists here. All right, Max, I get it. You think this is going to a dark place. I use AI to help with projects. Cool. A lot of people are going to start losing their jobs over the next decade. And a lot of jobs are going to be created that we can't even imagine right now. There's one of the things I'm seeing is, there's kind of this default to the robots are going to take our job. The robots are going to kill us. And people talk about it like human beings are static. Human beings are not static. What will happen is there's going to be massive disruption, and it's going to be really fucking painful. And that's why probably something like universal basic income is going to help, right? Because there's going to be disruption. But what's going to happen is people are going to get displaced. And here's the deal. Those displaced people at some point are going to get bored and say, maybe I should do something with my life. They have access to these AI tools as well. So there's going to be a lot of reinvention, people finding new careers, people inventing new careers, people inventing companies to go compete with the company that laid them off because they just wanted to use AI for efficiency. So I personally think that we're entering a great renaissance that is going to be, sort of creative and humanity kind of output, the likes of which we've never seen. Creative, professionally, scientific. It's going to be absolutely insane. But there's going to be a period where things get shaken up pretty dramatically, and it's going to be painful. But it's not like we're just going to sit around going, oh, remember when we used to have jobs? What should we do today? I don't know. You want to go kick a rock? Well, maybe we should float sticks. That's not humanity. That's not who we are. People want to contribute. So people contribute, and they'll find ways to do it, and new jobs will be created. All right. Boy, it's dark in here. Take care, guys. Bye, Max. Maybe we can lighten it up. Let's lighten it up. It sounds like Max took off. All right, that should be anyone. Human intelligence overall. Okay, wait. Do regular... Oh, shit. TikTok just lost my place in the questions again. But I was in a dark little tunnel. I was in the dark little Max tunnel there for a while. All right. Did you see the Time Magazine cover? Doomsday or clickbait, in my opinion. Here's the deal. It's so frustrating. The press is going to be the press. They're going to use anything that sells magazines. Nobody's buying magazines anymore. So you make a giant red cover that says we're all going to die. People are going to buy that magazine. What is a white paper? Okay, so a white paper... I thought I had one up. I don't. Hold, please. Let's go to attention. I'll take you to perhaps the most important white paper in the past 6 years or so. Attention is all you need. So there's this thing called archive, arxiv.org, that houses white papers. And wait, let me sort of zoom in here for you. Zoom. All right, so this is a little confusing. So this is the description of the white paper. And this is a white paper from June 12th, 2017 from Google. And this is the introduction of a thing called the transformer. And if you go over to the right-hand side of this thing, it says, here's what you can download. You can download the PDF or other formats, but I'm going to click on the PDF. And this is a white paper. It's basically it's a research document that introduces a concept. And so generally you've got a bunch of scientists at the top of it. So you see all the Google addresses here, and then some University of Toronto, a guy from Gmail, Ilya. Oh yeah, Ilya. And then a bunch of these Google brainiacs, right? And then there's the abstract that talks about, here's what this thing's all about. And then they introduce it, and then they usually have some diagrams and architecture. Yep, see, there's some architecture of this thing called a transformer. And what the transformer does, what they introduced was a thing that allowed large language models to be trained on incredibly large data sets. And so OpenAI trained their large language model on all of the internet. And that's why it's so incredibly capable. So that's what a large language model is, or that's what a white paper is a bunch of scientists come up with a topic, they put it out to the world. Sometimes they're peer reviewed, sometimes they're just put out there. There have been white papers, like they're just coming fast and furious because so many people are jumping on this generative AI bandwagon. And as they mix and match the different tools that different white papers introduce, they make all sorts of breakthroughs, and things are moving incredibly fast as a result of all this white paper action. Let's see. I'm trying to go back. I try not to miss any comments. So if it feels like I'm way behind on my comment reading, that's because I'm way behind on my comment reading. If you're new here, those URLs right there, the top one is the official ChatGPT site. The next one down is Bing.com, which is Microsoft's search engine. That when you click on the chat button is GPT-4, and then Po.com has a bunch of different GPT models you can play with. I would strongly encourage you to go play there. All right. I'm back to where Max was talking about we're all going to die. We're all going to die. We're all going to die. The robots are going to kill us. That's kind of what was going on in the comments. I think I'm past that now. Do regular software engineers, Angular, etc., need to switch to Python/AI? You don't need to. I think there's a massive opportunity if you can get your head around what these tools do and play around with things like LangChain and AutoGPT and learn about embedding and learn about weights and vector databases and things like that. I think it would serve you well. Does it mean that Angular development is going to go away? No, but it's probably a lot of it's going to get automated. So, you might be, yeah, I don't know. I would personally, I started a fucking TikTok channel at 58 about AI. That's how important I think it is. So what the fuck am I doing? AI will dominate humans. Oh, user 455-222-722-1067. You're so cute. All right. What is your business? Is it interesting and fun? I think it is interesting and fun. It's called Storyvine. It's a video agility platform. It's an automated video production platform. So we do a lot of work in healthcare and pharma, for example, and we have an app that guides an end user through telling their story. So let's say it's a patient talking about their diagnosis journey. Our app literally guides them. It's like, put your head in the dotted outline, introduce yourself and when you were diagnosed, and then it prompts them to say, what did it feel like when your doctor gave you the diagnosis, and how have you been treating your condition? So they answer a series of prompts one after the other in the app. Then those clips go up to the cloud, and 5 minutes later, you've got a fully edited video complete with graphics and background music and things like that. It does not use AI to do all that editing. It's more Aristotle than AI. It's very much a storytelling-centric technology, but I am completely rethinking the platform with AI. So I'm interested in learning what's the best site. That's why I have these up. Me personally, I would go to chatgpt.com GPT site, so that's chat.openai.com. That's the official ChatGPT website. I would start playing. Go ask it to write a song for you, describe your pet and have it write a poem, have it write a meal plan for you, have it write an exercise plan for you, have it create a marketing plan for you. Go to prompts.chat, and that will teach you about prompting, and then it'll give you a whole list of ideas and prompts that you can put in there to have it act like a therapist, or have it act like a scientist, or have it act like a novelist. And it does really remarkable things. So just start learning about it. Get curious about AI. Start solving problems with it. A friend of mine keeps publishing books using AI. He's published 13 in the past couple of days. Here's the deal. If you're just putting out books to put out books and they're just pieces of shit, they're pieces of shit. But if you actually understand your target audience and what message you want to put out there, and you use AI to accelerate that, then I'm fully in support of it. If he's just dumping shit on the marketplace hoping something will stick, then that's kind of shitty. But I don't fault anyone. Like, I think everyone should find every angle they can to get their head around this AI and find ways to make money with it. That's a way to do it. So good on him. Just hopefully he's not putting out horrific shit that he's not even looking at. I have the next couple of weeks off from work, and I want to get the most out of my time learning AI. Caitlin, jump in, dig in, go to those sites. The other thing that, so in my videos, my recorded videos on this TikTok machine, I've got one of the videos is called the 2023 Smart Challenge, and so what hit me one morning at like 4 a.m, I woke up, just out of a dead sleep, and I said, oh my God, like, people have to do this. People have to like do this. And what if I created a challenge? And so the 2023 Smart Challenge is do 2 projects with ChatGPT. So this might be a personal project and then a project for someone else. So the personal project might be create an exercise plan, or I don't know, come up with motivational sayings, right? Based on your favorite philosophers, whatever it is. Do something personal for yourself, and then do something for someone else. So it might be a community group or your church or business. Make a marketing plan for your business. So do that. The second part of the 2023 Smart Challenge is make 10 images using generative AI. So that might be Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, or if you go to bing.com, here, I'll let's see, bing.com, bing.com/create, create. That takes you to their image generator tool. And so we can type in here a penguin on a surfboard in a tsunami. And let's see, it is creating my artwork now. The reason I think that anyone learning anything about AI should use an image generation tool like this to create an image. So there's our penguins surfing in a tsunami. I don't know where the tsunami is in that. Now, this is based on DALL-E, which I think is the weakest of all the image generation models. But I think everyone should experience what it's like to type in some words and get back a picture that represents that. So I would dig in. So step 1 of the 2023 Smart Challenges, do 2 projects with ChatGPT. The second step is create 10 images with an image generation tool like this. And then the third thing is tell people what you're learning. And because in telling people what you're learning, some will be skeptical, some will be like Max and say, AI is going to kill us. And then others will be like, AI is stealing all our shit, and you're evil for doing AI. And other people will be like, I've never heard of it. And other people will be like, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? In talking about it, you do a couple of things. You'll find your people. You'll find people that are also curious about it. But you'll inspire some other people to try it, and it will force you to articulate what you're learning and how your eyes have been opened, if indeed they're open. Now listen, if you try all this stuff and you come out of it going, I think this is a waste of time, this is just a fad, cool. Like, I'm cool with that. What drives me batshit crazy is when people are like, it's going to kill us, I think it's awful, I think it's stealing, without actually trying it, without actually getting their hands on it and taking the time to kind of learn how this stuff works. So, use AI not to get lost. Here's the thing about AI. We've been using AI for decades already. So a Google search is chock full of AI. Siri is chock full of AI. There's lots of AI in specialized systems. What's different about ChatGPT is it's giving non-data scientists and researchers access to these tools to use in everyday life. That's the difference. So just like the World Wide Web was a layer that sat on top of the internet, so the internet was there for decades, and it was mostly scientists and researchers doing internet shit and science shit. And then the World Wide Web came along, and it allowed like real human beings, like ex-actors like me, to start, massive digital agencies, right? And build on top of it. This AI stuff's going to do the exact same thing. So we're at an inflection point where at the very, very beginning of, it's just like the birth of the web in 92, 3, and 4. We're at the very beginning of this generative AI shift, and this is not a fad in my opinion. Could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I've seen this before, and this shit is moving fast. A real AI programmer, nice to meet you. If you're an AI programmer, because I'm not. I am an AI enthusiast and an entrepreneur of many years, and I'm trying to learn everything I can. I've built some cool things with AI, some content generation engines that are pretty fucking sweet. They're pretty fucking sweet, yeah. Should ChatGPT pull all these TikTok comments and have a list out the question? Oh, I should have ChatGPT pull all the TikTok comments and pop up questions. That's a great idea. I don't quite know how to pull the comments out. I'm sure there's a way to do it. That's actually a really good idea. And so I heard that TikTok now has somewhere in the interface for certain users, they've got a generative AI, they've got a chatbot, an AI chatbot. So I would not be at all surprised if TikTok creates that tool. That would be a really good tool. So I don't have to sit here sifting through the comments. It actually is just pulling out and feeding me questions, and then I can say, okay, I answered that one. Okay, I answered that one. That would be super cool. And what would be cool is it pulls the questions dynamically and organizes them dynamically and says, you have questions in the following categories. Death of humanity, what the fuck is ChatGPT? How do I use it? Is my job going to be replaced? Things like that. It's like saying bugs contribute to your happiness. I don't know whatever I said. But, okay. Steve Wozniak, woz.org, says there should be a 6-month moratorium on ChatGPT. Yeah, so did Elon Musk a week before he accepted an order of 10,000 GPUs and started a ChatGPT competitor. Whenever you have large titans of industry proclaiming that the robots are going to kill us and we should take a pause on that, I look at the motives. Why is that? Well, it would probably be good to have all of your competitors stop for 6 months while you spin up your company. Like, that's one way to look at it. Now, are there issues that need to be dealt with? Yeah, there are. But when we say there should be a pause in AI development, should that just be in the United States? Should that just be Sam Altman and Google because they're the ones that are kind of leading the charge here? Or is everyone in the world going to do this? Because here's the deal. Everyone in the world's not going to fucking pause. So if America says, yeah, let's pause for 6 months, we're going to get our asses handed to us. So I just don't think it's realistic, and I just think that the timing and the motives of that are a little suspect. Even this thing that was just put out this week of we think that governments and companies should do things to prevent AI from extinguishing us as a species. Okay, I agree with that. Sure, I'll sign that. It's like a 3-sentence thing. Okay, I don't know what that means. What does that actually mean? Now, if they said, okay, here's an action plan behind that, we should create an international symposium to get, government representatives together to figure out how the fuck we're going to deal with the risks of AI. Cool, I'm good with that. But these sort of platitude fucking statements with all these signatories, they just ring hollow for me. Why would Bing have ChatGPT built into it? Because, okay, this is cool. That's a great question. So, when ChatGPT came out, Google had 92 or 94% of the search market share. Like, effectively a monopoly. Bing.com had 2%, maybe 4%, but I think it was closer to 2%. And Google controlled everything. Bing could absolutely not compete with in the search game. Even though they had Bing built into the operating system and built into their browsers and all that, they still had this minuscule market share, and they couldn't change it. Whether Bing wasn't as good or not, whatever it was, Google effectively had the monopoly. So they see this technology and they side up with OpenAI, and they spend like a year and a half working in conjunction with them to develop the technology, to develop the models. And as they got good enough, what they realized was they have something that it potentially makes search obsolete, right? Because so if you go to Google and you type in, find me these things, what do you get back? You get back 40 links, 36 of which have been paid for. And then it's up to you as a human being to go to all those links. And every time you click, Google's putting money in their pocket, right? Advertisers are paying for that. So you're clicking, and most of it's gotten so bad because they had a monopoly and didn't really have competition. They just did it however the hell they wanted. So the value of their search kind of went down as all these, paid things and SEO optimized bullshit sites, sort of clogged your search results. So along comes ChatGPT, where you ask it a question and it just goes, here's the answer. No bullshit, no anything, just here's the answer. And so they spent a year sort of figuring out a strategy to do this. And then in October, November of 2022, they announced that, or they're about to announce that they invested $1 billion into OpenAI. Sam Altman says to his tech team, go make ChatGPT. Interesting story behind that. But basically, they built ChatGPT in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's a very simple product. It's getting more complicated now, or more sophisticated now. But they launched it in 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, Microsoft was seen as an innovator, and they were seen as a direct competitor, an existential threat to Google. Google put up what was called a red alert. Because what Google realized, because they invented the core technology that sits underneath ChatGPT, they recognized that these large language models, if they ever got out in the world, were going to be a direct competitor to their business model. And that's what's going on right now. So Bing has ChatGPT in it because Microsoft is making a massive bet. They're rolling it into Office 365. They're rolling it into Windows 11. It's already in GitHub Copilot. It's in Azure services, so they're cloud services. It's going to be throughout the Microsoft suite of products, and it's going to be completely integrated. All the plugins for ChatGPT are going to work across all of Microsoft products. So Microsoft right now is acting like a scrappy little startup, kicking the shins of the big bully on the block, which was Google. So that's what's going on. What does the programmer think about this? Programmers that are leaning in heavy into Copilot and essentially pair programming with AI are seeing 30 to 40% productivity increases. So I think they're liking it. How can I make money from AI with home? I see this question a lot. So one thing you should not do is any TikTok that you see where the TikToker is going like, you can make money with ChatGPT. Have you seen ChatGPT? You can make money with ChatGPT. Let me show you how. And then they sell you a course on how to make money with ChatGPT. Here's the deal. How to make money with ChatGPT is essentially identical to how do you make money with Photoshop or how do you make money with Microsoft Word? I don't know. You find a problem that people have, you solve that problem, and you solve it so well that they're willing to pay you for it. Like, that's how business works. these AI tools are just tools. They happen to be some of the most powerful tools humanity has ever seen. So, like, they are remarkable tools, and they can completely amplify and allow you to do things where you might not otherwise have competence. Like me, for example, I'm not a good illustrator. I've got a good design eye, but I'm not a good illustrator, right? Well, now with Midjourney, I can have like a flash of an idea. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if I had an image that did this and I had words that did this? I can now execute that at a world-class level in like 15 minutes, where before I probably wouldn't even pursued it. So what I would say is I would kick it back on you to say how you can make money with AI is you start with what you know and what you're good at, and I identify some problem in the world, and then go learn AI and see how AI can help you do something better, faster, or cheaper, or all three in that area that you know, and then go put it out in the world. It could be a workshop, it could be a print-on-demand company, it could be lots of things. It doesn't matter. I did a live earlier today, and they said, I feel guilty. I'm making these patterns in whatever, Stable Diffusion or something like that, and I'm selling them on Etsy, and I feel bad. And I'm like, oh, well, why feel bad about that? Like, if you're creating beautiful things and you can put them in a form that you put them up on Etsy and people get joy out of them, you win. You just happen to use a tool that, makes those patterns faster than you could have traditionally, but that's there for everyone. So that's how you do it. I'm not here to say bad things. It was only a question. I don't know what question you asked. What does programmer think about this? I don't know. If I offended you, I didn't mean to offend you. Do you see the Time magazine cover? Yes, I did. Let's see. Woof woof. Chant me, Jerry Pup. I will use my dad's computer. Do you? I do not know what you're talking about. Do you have YouTube? My developer friend is in India and TikTok is banned there. I do not. So, sorry. I should. The problem is, so for a while I was putting I've got an art project called Kyle Shannon Dreams on TikTok. And I was putting those videos over on Instagram, and then I was like, oh, I should put them on YouTube too. The problem is there's just, with all these platforms, here's what we need. Here's how to make money with ChatGPT. Here's a way to make money with ChatGPT. Build an AI-powered tool that I can just point it at my TikTok channel, and it will automatically strip out all the TikTok branding, repurpose it for TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, wherever the fuck it needs to live, and it'll just put it there. And it'll do all the SEOing, and it'll do all the just have it do it. I'll pay $20 a month for that. I'd pay probably $40 a month for that. Probably not that, but whatever. You get my idea. There's a business to build. What is this called? This is called AI Learning Lab. That's this channel. I don't know what this is. So because I'm kind of behind on the comments, I'm trying to hit them all. If you say things like, what is this called? If I don't know what it is, then I can't answer it. So write things more explicitly. ChatGPT supports plugins now. Yeah, check this out. ChatGPT Plus. So if you pay, and boom. Okay. So it is now thinking. And you'll see here, boom, it pops open that plugin. And so it says using Ask Your PDF. And I can actually open this and see what it's doing. So it basically took my URL, sent it to that service. It then wrote a summary. And then it said, based on the summary of the paper, here's a sonnet that describes the main concepts. In realms of language, sequence is key. Transduction tasks, a challenge to be met. Complex models ruled as far as we could see with encoders, decoders in a duet, right? So it's talking about encoders and decoders dancing. Recurrent convolutional networks held the throne, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying, okay, I don't like that. Can you just give me 10 bullet points that reveal the main concepts and why they are important. And so now it's going to go ask it again, because before it just gave me a short little summary. So it's probably now doing something like getting the important concepts. Let's go look and see what it did. Yeah, it's given me back a bunch of different things. So it asked the model, that tool, something different. So here are the 10 main concepts of the paper: sequence modeling and transduction, recurrent and convolutional neural networks, attention mechanisms, the transformer model. This is the big thing about that paper. Parallelization. Okay, now this is still like decently technical. Like, these are big words. These are multi-syllabic words, right? So I'm going to say, can you rewrite the 10 points as if I were a fifth grader? And I misspelled fifth grader, which is appropriate. Sure, here are the main concepts for a fifth grader. So it still gives me the same things, but it makes the descriptions much more simple. So that's how plugins work. And there's all sorts of cool ones in there. I did one. Let me see. Okay, I did one here. This is pretty slick. So this site called Archive, where all these white papers are. I wrote this prompt. So there's a plugin called X Papers, and what X Papers does is it can go read all of the white paper archives, right? The archive.org. It can go see what's in there. That's what the plugin does. So I wrote a prompt that said, create a table with the name of the paper from this week. So I said, go find machine learning and AI papers from this week, and create a table that links to the paper with the title, gives a description, and then classifies it. What did I put? I put classifies it of interesting on the low end to breakthrough on the high end, come up with appropriate words in between those two. I didn't give it any more descriptions than that. And it created this table. And so here's the papers that were published this week on machine learning. And this one is interesting. This one's worth a look. So it came up with worth a look on its own. This one's exciting. It came up with exciting on its own. The very last one here I noticed is breakthrough. So this one is the biggest breakthrough of the bunch, the bottom one here. So that's what a plugin does. This plugin has a very specific use, and by activating that for this prompt, it can do this very specific thing. So pretty slick stuff. All right, let me flip over like that. I do have Plus. Didn't know that. Cool. Yeah, go play with this. The plugins, they're here's the deal about all this technology right now. It's all super raw and wonky and shitty. Just know it's kind of shitty. Can I ask ChatGPT to teach me how to create a thing just like it, but for my own use? Yes, you can. And it will even help you code. So depending on how you want to build it, tell it to help you, to have it teach you how to code it and where to host it and all that sort of stuff. And especially if you're using either Bing.com or ChatGPT with connection to the internet through Bing, you'll be able to get like the latest documentation of whatever code you're trying to run, and it can read the documentation for you and create a tutorial for you on how to install it. It's a full moon. That's why I'm so crazy. It's definitely not me. It's definitely not me. I'm not crazy. Buy a curse word. Have a nice day. Oh, buy a curse word. Oh, I offended someone. Sorry, I swear. What are you going to do? I'm from Gen X. We're little rebels. We're rebels. And I drop the occasional F-bomb because I don't give two shits about it. It's just language. I don't know who decided this word is good and this word is bad. And why was this word bad 20 years ago, but now it's fine, but this word was fine 20 years ago, but now it's bad? Because it's all arbitrary bullshit that we're just making up. Because we're divisive human beings, and we're living in a divisive time, and that's the way it is. What's the best AI site? Well, I think these are kind of foundational AI sites for ChatGPT. So the top one, chat.openai.com, is the official ChatGPT site. Bing.com is free GPT-4 connected to the internet. And Poe.com gives you access to GPT 3 and 4, 3.5 and 4, their own chat engine, and then Anthropic's Claude models, which are all quite powerful as well. So you get to play with multiple models. So that's why I have these here. I think that's where you should start. And then these things at the bottom, prompts.chat teaches you how to prompt, or it's at least a beginning. And then futurepedia.io is just like a crap ton of tools, AI tools that you can go play with. I'm grateful for your knowledge. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. I read about that bridge for that guy walking. It's amazing. Yeah, the Bluetooth bridge between his brain, and they basically skipped a section of his spine where he's got the spinal injury and put electrodes in his spine down below. And then they did an fMRI and had him think about moving his legs. So they imaged the part of his brain that was activated when he was thinking about moving his legs. And then it learned it, and they basically sent that signal into his spine that was connected to his legs, and he's walking now. It's staggering. And here's the thing about all this generative AI stuff. Because it's so capable of analyzing almost any data set and kind of learning it and getting trained on it, and then can analyze it and do all this other shit with it, we're going to be solving, decades or centuries old problems that have been insolvable, and we're going to be solving them one after another, and it's going to be accelerating. Do I believe AI will eat software jobs? Absolutely. And then it will create a bunch more software jobs. It's going to eat the way we used to do things, and it's going to completely transform and reinvent how we do things in the future. I think engineers that can build shit are always going to be in demand. But if those engineers say, I only do C# programming and I only hand code it because that's the way you should do it, they're going to get their asses handed to them by some 19-year-old that comes along and can functionally program in 17 different languages. Even if he doesn't have the experience, he's going to be able to run circles around that engineer that's resisting the change. Now, if that 35-year experienced C# programmer says, fuck it, I'm going to learn AI, I'm going to start using Copilot and GitHub, and I'm going to get way more efficient with my 35 years of experience, they're going to become a superstar, right? So I think the opportunity here is fucking massive. But everything's going to be different, so it is going to be painful. And it's going to be painful for almost everyone. I don't think anyone is exempt. I sent you a LinkedIn request. Cool. Like the articles you've been sharing there. Thank you very much. I will connect with you. Your personality reminds me of Donald Trump. Oh, fuck. Jesus. Oh. That wasn't what I was going for. Being called Fat Alec Baldwin and Rosie O'Donnell was bad enough, but my personality reminds me of Donald Trump. I'm sorry. I'll change my personality, I promise. What do I think a developer should be focused on as AI comes to play? Learn about what it makes possible. Like if I were a developer right now, if I were an engineer, I'd be participating in all these open source LLM projects, the open source large language models, things like AutoGPT, things like Baby AGI, LangChain, the Alpaca 7B, like all the open source things. I mean, I would be just jumping into that. I'd also be learning about prompt engineering and because programmers think so logically and think in like Lego blocks, you can do that with natural language now and get a whole bunch of stuff out of these tools. I think someone just walked in, or we have a ghost. All right. So that's what I'd be focusing on. I'm a product manager, and it's excellent to help proofread my docs. Yeah, it's really good for proofreading stuff, analyzing stuff, rewriting stuff. Like I've been doing things like I'll take really long documents where someone will say, hey, can you whip up a little write-up on this or that? And I'm like, oh, I've got that long document, but I don't feel like turning it into 2 paragraphs. It's going to take me an hour, and I get all whiny and bitchy. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, let me just pop that in ChatGPT. Pop it in ChatGPT. Give me 2 short little paragraphs. Oh, those suck. Can you make them more conversational? Boom, they're perfect. Copy, paste, done. So I do that all the time. So... how do you make money with ChatGPT? You figure out how to use it to accelerate the shit you do in your job. It can help you do your job faster or better or more quickly. All of those are good things. And if you can get competent at doing what you do faster, better, or cheaper, or all 3 of those, you'll work. If you resist it, you're going to run into it. Well, a brick wall is going to run into you. They were all saying, what did that say? They were all saying doom and gloom when the computer first came out too. Yeah. University professors picketed universities when the calculator came out. You can't use a calculator at a university. How are people going to learn math? AI to capture feelings and emotions. These AI things, they do not feel, they do not have empathy, but they interact with a lot more empathy than humans do a lot of the times. They just did a test like 2 weeks ago where they had patients interact with AI doctors, like ChatGPT doctors, and real doctors, and the patients overwhelmingly rated the ChatGPT doctors higher in both competence and empathy. So I think that ChatGPT as an augmentation to a real doctor are going to be really interesting. Like it might dramatically increase quality of patient engagement and free the doctor up to do better doctoring and not so much paperwork. I'm using AI to upgrade my skills. More power to you. That's why this channel's here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. If you like this, feel free to share this live. I don't know how you share these, but if you can share it if you think this is of value. And I appreciate the taps, the tappy heart things. I don't know what those are called. I have never read manuals, so I do not know how to really do a live, so I'm probably doing this all wrong. But I appreciate you all being here. I really do. I have fun doing this, so. New careers. AI will do everything. No, it won't. It's going to do a lot. But again, I think Microsoft's branding on this is right. They're calling their AI augmentation tools Copilot. You still decide what you want to write in Microsoft Word. You might have Copilot do the bulk of the work, but it's still up to you to curate it, refine it, edit it, choose to publish it or not, choose to put it in an email or not. So the intentionality, so if you think Google was good at getting you information, right? You did a Google search and you got information, but then it was up to you to go look through all that information and figure out how to learn it enough to get knowledge. Generative AI gives us instant knowledge, right? So I can instantly get the answer, or I can get, a competent programmer at my fingertips instantly. Above that is wisdom, right? Above that is the human contribution piece. Above that is critical thinking and reasoning and taste and things like that. So I think what happens is the AI stuff automates some of the lower level shitty work that was down here, automates some of this stuff out. So there's going to be massive disruption down here. There's going to be a fair amount of disruption here. There's going to be less disruption up here. But the people up here, if they don't know how to use these tools, they're not gonna have a job. So I think there will absolutely be new careers. There will be jobs that we can't even imagine what they are right now that are generated out of whole cloth. So again, I understand why people are going to the dark dystopian place, but I think there's a very, very real possibility that things actually get better. And that's the future that I'm trying to lean into. That's why this channel exists. Whenever a new career, AI will take it over. Disagree, JK, sorry. The plugins are a paid feature, yes. But Microsoft announced this past week that all of the Microsoft Copilot stuff is going to support the OpenAI plugin architecture. So all the plugins that you have to pay for right now to get access to, they're just going to be available within all the Microsoft products. So all this stuff will be there. I think what's going to end up happening is this. There'll be some core level of functionality that's just rolled into every tool that we've got. So ChatGPT-like functionality is just going to be everywhere. Most of the plugins will be free, and then there'll be some plugins that are actually tying into proprietary data sets or things like that you'll pay for. That's my instinct is how that'll play out. What's my favorite ChatGPT plugin? Oh shit, TikTok just moved my things. A to Z plus Gen Z exclamation point. I'm ADHD plus Gen X, so more power to you. But yeah, us ADHDers got to stick together. Generative AI is like crack for ADHD. There's so much there that it's like it's overwhelming even for me. And like I sort of get off on, give me like multiple inputs and I'll figure out how to synthesize them really quickly. And there's just too many inputs right now. It's absolutely overwhelming. So if you are digging into this and you're feeling like I'm completely overwhelmed, I can't keep up with it, what's happening? I feel that way too. So actually, the way I've kind of dealt with that is I'm paying attention less to all the little noise because there's just so much shit coming. And like why I have these things on screen is like I just focus on those top 3 plus the image generation tools. Like I do Midjourney or Stable Diffusion in those 3 and just start with that. And then if you want to get really fancy, teach yourself Zapier, which is a no-code automation tool where you can make things like content generation engines. Like I've made a bunch of those, right? I create a Google form where someone puts information in a form. It sends those prompts with that data off to OpenAI and generates a bunch of content. And that's all an automation with Zapier. Those are pretty fun. They're easy to make. They're super cool. And then if you want to get really geeky, then you learn things like, someone is a fan of mine and Storyvine. I appreciate that. Flip, that's really cool. The Zapier things are super cool. Why is it that I see all these AI experts don't talk about variables? Variables are great. I use variables all the time. So when I'm doing my automations, I'm pulling in variables from the Google Forms, and then I write a prompt that's got my variables included in it. So I appreciate you assuming that I'm an idiot. Just because I'm an idiot doesn't mean you should assume I'm an idiot. Variables are awesome. Why is it that people that like variables assume that other people don't understand what variables are? Huh? Answer me that. I'm petty, I'm bitter, but I'm funny. Am I funny? Well, I'm funny in my own mind. Looks aren't everything. That was a dad joke, but I'm a dad, so I'm exempt. Sorry, I lost my place in the questions. Okay, I'm back. All right. AI is a tool. Yes, that's actually, as I don't know what you meant by that, but a lot of the commentary that you see on social media of the robots are going to destroy us and AI is going to do this and AI stole my shit. AI is just a tool. AI is a tool that human beings are using. Now, there's going to be fancy versions of AI where it does its own shit, but it's still going to be initiated by humans. If you think of it more like a co-pilot, where you're the pilot and this is your assistant. So imagine ChatGPT is like the smartest assistant in the history of mankind, and you get to play with it. That's what it's like. But it's a tool. You're in charge, not the robot. The most noticeable one is the AI overseer. I don't know what that means. You're great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I also IT engineer how to get an AI job. Wait, I also IT engineer. If you're into IT, so I think a parallel career path to IT is going to be AI operations. So figuring out which tools, figuring out how to embed private company data sets and do security, and like there's a whole world of AI operations as companies want to use these more and more advanced tools. Things are moving so fast that it's going to need to be someone's job to figure that out for individual companies. So I think that could be a nice transition from an IT engineer. The young generation is getting dumber with AI. Do you agree? I do not. I think so. Here's been my experience, and when I first started doing this and I started the AI salon, people were like, "Oh, these things make these images, and isn't that going to make you less creative?" I'm finding that it makes me more creative. I've been more creatively engaged and alive than I've been in the past decade because of AI. So what these AI tools do is they kind of amplify the ideas that I already have. So I have an idea, I put it in this tool, and rather than having to spend 40 minutes downloading some app and then realizing that I'm actually shitty at illustration and like running down a rabbit hole of trying to figure shit out, now I have an idea, I pop into ChatGPT or into Midjourney, and bang, that idea is realized within 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. And then that gives me 10 more ideas. And so I think it's actually quite the opposite. I think when you actually start engaging with these tools, again, AI isn't happening at us. We are using AI as a tool to amplify what we want to do. And so I think that, the Gen Zers that jump on this and kind of use this as a core part of what they do are going to be fucking rock stars, because they're going to think of ways of using it that us old farts never would have. But we have an advantage too, which is we can look at the output of these tools and go, oh, that's shitty, that's brilliant. Let me take the brilliant thing and run with it. So I think I think we're in kind of revenge of the liberal arts major, and I think older folk with life experience that learn AI are going to be in tremendous demand, because you need people with good critical thinking skills and good curation skills and good worldview skills so that they can parse what's good and bad about the shit that's coming out of these machines. Hello, I'm your friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. The despicables are taking over. What about AI and crypto? Where do you think it will go? So I think that AI is going to absolutely drive blockchain adoption and tokenization technology, and probably crypto and NFT. But so I think the challenge with crypto is that as a sector, it led with technology. It said, "Here's a solution," and it sort of surmised the problem, but it didn't really solve a problem. It solved a problem that crypto people will tell you is there, but isn't really there. I think the 2024 election here in the United States is going to be so insane with very sophisticated disinformation because of AI that I think on the tail end of that, there's going to be a clamoring for verification of authentic content, right? Is this video a real person? Can we verify that? That's perfect for tokenization. That's perfect for blockchain technology. So I could see there being infrastructures built on top of blockchain where I produce a video with my Storyvine platform, and that gets turned into an NFT that is verified human, right? Check, this is a human being, and this has not gone through any edits. And if anything, changes about that file, it will no longer be validated on the blockchain. So I think that AI has a real shot of driving Web3 adoption as an actual solution to very real problems that are going to show up. Great question. What is Angular mostly used for? I don't know. It's a development framework. I know our developers have used it. I don't know. If generative AI gets so smart, why don't we just ask it to govern itself? In fact, so you should go check out, there's a company called Anthropic, and they've got a ChatGPT competitor called Claude. There are a bunch of ex-OpenAI employees that started it. And they started Anthropic to pursue what they're calling a constitutional learning model. So right now with OpenAI, with ChatGPT, it's human reinforcement learning. So there's a bunch of ways they train these models. And then the final step is humans go in there and they look at the answers that these large language models come up with and they go, that was good, that was bad, here's how I would make it better. And human beings sort of train it to know what's good and bad, and then it very, very quickly gets good. It, like, the quality goes up quite dramatically after a very short amount of interactions. The challenge with that is it's not scalable, it's expensive, it's slow, and human beings have bias in them, right? So every human being has their own biases, good, bad, or indifferent, right? Bias is not a bad thing. It just means here's my belief system, right? And so every human being's got one. And ChatGPT's gotten some crap because, it was in San Francisco and they're like, it's got bias, whatever. What Anthropic's doing is they're doing this thing called the constitutional learning model, which is the Constitution is, here's a set of rules that our model's going to follow. And it's, first we're not going to extinguish humans, and then we're going to try to increase prosperity and reduce pain and suffering and whatever it be. So they come up with these rules, and then when the system generates an answer, it actually compares that answer to the Constitution. And if it says, hey, you're violating one of the rules of the Constitution, go back and rewrite it. So it will iterate on the answer until it fulfills the mission of that Constitution. So Anthropic is a company that is developing a system where it will govern itself. And I think you're going to see a whole suite of companies. This is going to be a whole sector of companies that analyze and verify and, do all sorts of stuff with the output of these machines. I think it's going to be a whole sector in and of itself. So it's a good question. A lot of people aren't checking their info. I agree. I've seen those, and there's outdated data in the books. Yeah, there was a lawyer this week wrote a legal brief. Fucking idiot. He wrote a legal brief with ChatGPT and gave it to the judge. And the judge read the legal brief, and then the judge went and looked at the citations for the case law that to support the argument, and it was all made up shit. Like, there was no case law behind it. It was all just bullshit that ChatGPT put in there. And the lawyer didn't fact check it. So is that ChatGPT's fault? No, it's a stupid idiot lawyer. So, yeah. You got to understand the tools you're working with, and ChatGPT will lie to you. Okay. For that picture one, I tried getting a cat train like Totoro, but it never gave me a good one. Yeah, so Bing.com, they're using OpenAI's DALL-E image engine, which I think is just bad. If you want to use a good one, Midjourney. So here's the problem with Midjourney is you actually do it from within Discord. So you need to join the Midjourney Discord server. This is the AI Salon, but we've got a Midjourney bot in here. But where's Midjourney Play? So here's Midjourney, and Midjourney's really good. Like, the quality of Midjourney stuff is just staggeringly good. So if you say /imagine, and then you put in, what did you put? I tried getting a cat train like Totoro. Let me see. Get a cat train like Totoro. I don't know what that means. Or let's see, a cat train like Totoro. I don't know. Let's just see what that does. Let's see if it gives us anything interesting. I don't know what I'm actually looking for here, but Midjourney is just better than the others. Stable Diffusion's pretty good. Midjourney's the best, in my opinion. And then DALL-E is by far the weakest, and that's the one that Bing uses. Google just announced 2 weeks ago that they're using Adobe Firefly as their image generation tool. So I think it's fascinating that they're not using their own image generation technology. All right. Come on. Well, I'll come back to that. I'll just keep watching it. When it comes up with something, we'll see what it came up with. We should use ChatGPT in beneficial, productive ways to align with our normal hobbies and interests. Yeah, that's a great way, Cameron, to use ChatGPT. Is like, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? And then how can it support you in that? All right, so what you're looking for, but it's cats on trains. and the three of them have a particular illustration style that's in the same neighborhood. Well, no, two of them are kind of illustrations and two of them are kind of photographic. So anyway, I'm a fan of Mid Journey for when it comes to images. Imagine all the people living in a world. All right, let's see. I'm excited to learn more. Cool. Stormy. When talking to Bing's AI, it reminded me of AIM chatbots. I know it's more sophisticated. Yeah, I know. So I agree. I think chatbot is the wrong. I think it's bad branding because chatbots for decades have just fucking sucked. Like I had a developer that worked for me, and he was like, chatbots are going to be great. And he was like, AI chatbots are going to be great. And they just all sucked because they were all decision trees. And ChatGPT is not really a chatbot. It is, an incredibly sophisticated, like, concept and reasoning engine, knowledge engine. So here's the deal. If you interact with ChatGPT like a chatbot, it will act like a chatbot. If you give it like simple, not well thought out answers, or you're just like write me a poem, it'll write you a poem. But if you really set it up and say, you describe a scene and then you describe, two lovers in that scene, and then you talk about here's my favorite poets and you give it a bunch of context, and then you say, now write me a poem about this situation. It will write you a dramatically better poem than if you just say, write me a poem about two lovers sitting by a stream. Because the way the system actually works is there are all these, think of it like a series of canyons, right? And if you're high enough in the helicopter, you can see into all of the canyons. And when you start with ChatGPT, it can kind of see all of the words it knows in all of these semantic canyons, sort of these meaning-related canyons. And so if you just say, write me a poem, it'll look at all of the words in all of the canyons and just pull you a poem out of every... So you tend to get generic kind of mamby-pamby kind of shit. But if you say, I like Raphael as an artist, and I like Shakespeare, and I like, Plato, and I like, whoever, like I like all these different people, it kind of lowers the helicopter into a broad canyon. If you get more specific and give it more context, it'll go into an even smaller canyon. And then when you ask it to do something, it's pulling from a very specific set of semantic words and meanings. And so you get dramatically different and dramatically better context. So I would say take the time to learn how sophisticated prompting can dramatically alter the results you get. That will help. Gen X here too. I remember how gratifying it was to type dirty words in AOL. Yeah, it's like swearing on TikTok. Not everyone's happy about it, but you can still do it. TikTok doesn't care if you swear, but apparently you can't drink water on the TikTok. And apparently you can't talk about bias without getting booted. All right. I feel like a lot of people's programs that are AI are just ChatGPT with prompts built in so far. Yeah, full of myself. You are correct. Most of them are. There are some that are more sophisticated, like the Mackenzie Bose's GPT boss. I mean, his channel, he talks about building this tool that he created, and it's a series of prompts sitting on top of ChatGPT. But in his case, it's a whole sophisticated platform of all these different specialized prompts that become, tools that you can use to run a business. But a lot of the crap out there are just what I call wrapper apps. So a wrapper app is you're wrapping a prompt around, just basic ChatGPT, and then you're charging people 10 or 15 bucks a month, and it's just bullshit. All that stuff is going to go away. So if you feel like that's what's happening, that's because that's what's happening. My hair is just given up. For people that are new here, I think there's some new people here. The URLs I have on screen, the top one there is the official ChatGPT website. If you haven't played with ChatGPT, I strongly encourage you to do it. Bing.com, the chat in Bing.com is also ChatGPT. And then Poe.com gives you access to like 3 different companies' models. Yeah, 3 different companies' models, and there's like 5 or 6 of them in there that you can play with. So it's really good. All right, if you have questions about AI, drop them in. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm just a guy learning about this stuff, sharing as much as I can to kind of demystify it and get people curious about it and get them excited about it. And that's what I'm here for. There's a TikTok API. You can make that. Oh, cool. Oh, I can make oh yeah, I could probably do that with Zapier, couldn't I? So if there's a TikTok API and it's connected to Zapier, because I'm not geeky enough to actually be able to program with an API, but if it's in Zapier, I can toss it in there. And then I could build an automation to say, go here. I assume that there's an ID number for this live. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. That's cool. Okay, sorry, talking amongst myself here. With Quinn. Thanks, Quinn. I will check that out. Filter based on negative sentience. Don't know what that means. Yeah, seriously. Let's fall even further behind. Don't know what you're doing. Shout out, I am Spartacus. 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 I'm Spartacus. I'm Monty Python. We are the knights who say nee. I don't think I've had my meds today. Can AI send an email to a lab that will order a protein that can be created to kill human life? Yes, I think we will see bad actors do shit like that. Do you seriously think countries will abide by regulations meant to rein in AI? I think some will and some won't. And I think that bad actors are going to do bad shit with AI, and then good actors are going to have access to the same tools. And if we can get more countries than not to act responsibly, then hopefully we can drown out the bad actors. That's another purpose of this channel, is the more people that understand what these tools are, how to use them, are going to be able to take their talents and they will have a disproportionately positive impact on the future of AI. That's why I'm doing this. So, yes. Can it get really dark really fast? Yes. Will there be a news headline probably within the next year that AI did something fucking horrific because someone made it do that? Yes. Does that mean it's going to be the end of humanity? I don't think so. But we all have to participate. We all have to play. Like, I think this is way more significant than, if you want change, you should vote. With AI, dramatic disruption is coming, whether we want it or not. If you want to not be at the mercy of that disruption, learn AI. Like, that's where my head is. The problem is the search is stealing from natural SEO for blogs. Well, so I agree with that SEO and the entire search paradigm, the entire web paradigm, I think is about to be disrupted. I was thinking, so a friend of mine is this guy, Steve Sash, and he's got a company called Zero Shoes, minimalist running shoes. And he does a lot with SEO, and he does a lot of website optimization, and it's all about driving traffic to the website and driving traffic to these trackable pages and all that sort of stuff. And, he was talking about, well, how can AI help drive traffic to my site? And I'm like, well, it might not. And it, in fact, it might replace traffic to your website. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, someone's there looking for, why does my knee hurt? And in doing that, they learn about the minimalist running movement, and they learn about what it is, and they say, well, who are companies that make that stuff? And his company will come up in there, and then what kind of shoes do they have for this kind of running? Well, they have these kind of shoes, and then because these things are now connected to the internet, it may just pull in, like, here are the models of shoes, here's the prices, here's the link to buy it. I might buy it within a chat context without ever going to the website. So there's going to be, chat optimization, like how do you end up in that conversation when someone is organically sort of trying to figure something out in their life, and they organically get to, I would like to see what these shoes are all about. They might go to a website, but they might not. So how do you end up in that conversation? I think you have to have, because Google didn't have any competitors, it became this very monolithic kind of way you structure SEO and traffic driving. And because this is completely upsetting the apple cart, I think all of that kind of changes. So I don't have a good answer for where it's going, but I don't think SEO survives in its current state. They've had international symposiums on gene editing, gentle person's agreement, where the line is. Yeah, I think they're going to have that too. I think because AI is moving so fast, they're going to have to get their shit together pretty quickly. Is old Altman doc, How to Build GPT, still available anywhere? I assume that in the documentation of GPT 3, like DaVinci 3, like I would say just go to. So if you want to go to the dev part of ChatGPT, go to platform.openai.com/playground, and then go to documentation. And so here's all the documentation. So can you search the documentation? I don't think so. Models, tutorials. It's probably still in here. I would be surprised if it wasn't. What he's asking about is, so in the documentation of GPT-3 were the instructions for how to build ChatGPT. And Sam Altman assumed for years that someone would build it, and no one built it. So he had his engineers build it in 2 weeks, and then it went to 100 million users in 6 weeks. Fastest adoption of software in history. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Mastering the prompts like a consultant. You're talking to each other. What are the chances AI can decide it's bad for BlackRock to be rich and redistribute their wealth? I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I mean, like, where the boundaries are of what we allow these tools to touch and do is going to be really interesting. If AI could figure out how to do that in a way that BlackRock would support it, like, that might be kind of interesting. If it does it just as an end around to fuck with the company, because some hacker wants to take BlackRock down, that's where things get weird, and like, we start to see all sorts of weird corporate espionage wars going on. I mean, that might start happening, but I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you, but it's a really interesting concept. Because BlackRock is out of fucking control. They own everything. Humanoid is getting released later this year. Yep, OpenAI just showed one 2 days ago. Heard Google is experimenting with their AI version called Barb. It's actually called Bard, as in the Bard, as in Shakespeare, not Barb as in Barbie doll. Thoughts, please. Thanks. Okay. So here's my thoughts on this. Google invented the transformer, which is the core technological breakthrough that ChatGPT is based on, and Midjourney is based on, and Stable Diffusion is based on, and the music generation tools. All of the current modern shit that we're getting to play with that's making everyone go, holy shit, I didn't know it could do that. All of that stuff is sitting on the foundation of this thing called a transformer that Google invented. So Google invents this thing in 2017, and I think they quickly realize, guys, if we release this to the world, it kind of fundamentally threatens our search business. Why don't we keep it in the back room? And so because they had this 92 or 94% market share of the search market, I think they basically just sat back and just kind of slow rolled this stuff. And then no one, including Sam Altman, had any idea that ChatGPT was going to explode the way it did. And when that happened, it caused an immediate panic within Google, right? They called it a code red. Within a month of that thing coming out, and probably around the time it came out, they realized, holy shit, we're behind. So they've got this thing called Bard, and it's built on top of, I forget what their core model is called, but they just came out with version 2 of the core model. It's better than it was, but let me interesting. So let's go to Bard. If you go to bard.google.com, you can go play with it. And so it's just like ChatGPT. In fact, they copied the interface of ChatGPT, which I think is hilarious. So I'm going to say, write an M rap that explains quantum mechanics. And so this is Bard. And so it's going to write something that looks like a poem. I'm here to drop some knowledge on you about quantum mechanics, the study of the very small. It's a crazy world where particles can be seen in two places at once, and waves can act like particles. It's all so insane. Okay, nothing in that rhymed. Nothing there sounds like Eminem. And it's kind of, I don't know, pedestrian explanation so far. Okay, so that's Bard. Now let's go to GPT-4. And I'll write the exact same prompt. I'm going to go to the one not connected to the internet, so just basic GPT-4. Write an Eminem rap that explains quantum mechanics. Yo, it's Eminem here to break down the quantum scene, about to blow your mind with things unseen. You think the world's just atoms, right? We'll take a seat, because quantum's where the microscopic and mystic meet. 1 minute it's a particle, next it's a wave, it's a quantum realm. You got to be brave. The one it did yesterday was even better than this. Here they're talking about Schrodinger's rap instead of Schrodinger's cat. They're talking about Heisenberg. They're talking about uncertainty, positions, duality. Like the explanation's better and more interesting, and it's actually a rap that's got rhymes in it. So the differences are subtle, but they're subtle but dramatic. So I think Bard is going to be good at some point. Right now, I think it's better at engineering stuff. I've heard that it's better at coding than GPT-4, but GPT-4 is pretty fucking competent at coding. So I think it will get better, but I just think right now it's just not anywhere in the same neighborhood of quality that OpenAI is, because they ignored it for a bunch of years. I think they just mothballed it, and then they realized, oh fuck, maybe we should dust that thing off and go compete. So they have a lot of tools that they're coming out with, but they're just not great right now. What do you think about the bots that do the work for you? Have you tried it? Oh, like Auto GPT, the autonomous agents. So the autonomous agents are really, really janky right now. They're really just bad technology. They're conceptually fucking brilliant. So what they are, so if you go to, is it Agent GPT? Hang on. Let's go do some real-time playing. agentgpt.com. If you go to, oh, they got a new interface. Wait. Huh. Well, this is different. Level.ai. agentgpt.com. Oh, it's a redirect now to their core site. All right. Well, what this used to be was a web version. I think there's another one called, what the hell is it called? God Mode. Yeah, godmode.space. Okay. All right. Autonomous agent. So with ChatGPT, what you do is you type in a prompt and it gives you an answer. What happens with autonomous agents is you type in a goal and it gives itself a list of tasks to go accomplish that goal. So I'll do what I've done before and we'll see how well it does. Let me make it a little bigger so you can see it. Got the hiccups. He's hiccuping. It's very rude. He swears, and then he was drinking something. I don't know what it was. It looked like it could have been vodka, but I don't know. I don't know what he was drinking. But he was clearly not acting right in his right mind. And he swears. I don't know. His dog barks. He was very rude. I don't know what I was talking about. Okay. So we're gonna put in something here I've done before. So I'm gonna say, find the marketing taglines of the top 10 competitors to Storyvine. Storyvine is my company. Wait, to continue and save your sessions, alternatively provide your own OpenAI key. Let me sign in with Google and see if it will continue for me. Great, you're logged in. Done. I think I have to put in my own OpenAI key. I'm going to turn my camera so you can't see my key because you dang hackers will steal my API key. Don't do it. I know you bastages. All right. All iCloud. There they are. All right, there's my OpenAI key. We're going to go back over here. We're going to pop in the OpenAI key. We're going to verify it. Checking. You're good. Done. Why is this not working? Copy. Hang on. I know this is scintillating watching me try to get a website working. It's like every time someone's like, "Oh, you got to see this cool thing." Oh, wait. Well, normally the internet's faster than this. Did I do it? What is going on? Launch. So now I've got a website in dark mode where it's putting all the text in dark text so we can't see it. Manipulating results. Okay. I'm sorry you can't see what this is doing, but what this is doing, so I asked it to go find me marketing taglines of my company. So it says thoughts. The agent started thoughts. I need to identify the top 10 competitors of Storyvine in the market and gather their marketing taglines. I can start by searching for, quote, Storyvine competitors on Google. Reasoning. I need to gather the information, right? So then it says command Google, arguments, query, Storyvine competitors. So it figured out that the first step that it should do to go get my marketing taglines was to go Google things or go Google who my competitors are. And then I can give it feedback. I can say, yeah, do this, don't do this. But I'm going to say, sure, approve this plan. Now, some of these autonomous agents, they don't have the step where it says approve this plan and they don't have the reasoning. They just go. And that's where these things can get dangerous because you could say, go find vulnerabilities in any Windows computer you find on the internet running this version of Windows with this vulnerability and come back with any systems that haven't patched that vulnerability and just go do that. So now the next step. it got some information. I can use the information from the Google search to identify the top 10 competitors. I need to identify the top 10 competitors. Yes, approve this plan. So now it's going to go off and do its next thing. So what these autonomous agents are doing is they're kind of figuring out on their own. They're prompting themselves. They're kind of cool. The problem is they're really janky. They crash a lot. They get lost. They're just janky. All right. I will use the list of competitors to do research on each one, gather their marketing taglines. I need to gather the information. The difference between the thoughts and reasoning are pretty bad right now in this thing, but that's okay. So I give it the go ahead. It says crunching the numbers, harnessing the power of 20,000 GPUs. That's funny. I wonder if that was hard coded or if that's a chatgpt little message right there. It's probably hard coded because we're used to hard coding things. Crunching numbers. Approve this plan. Okay. I will use the competitors, blah, blah, blah. So what it's doing now is it's going through each website that it found in Google and it's getting the tagline. So anyway, you get the basic idea of what those things are. So that's an autonomous agent. So AutoGPT is one of those. Baby AGI is one of those. GPT for All, I think, is one of those. But GPT for All, I think, is just a large language model you can install on your computer. So I don't know what it is. Anyway, ran down that rabbit hole. Did I lose it? I actually gained people. Okay, if you're new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. I'm an idiot. And this is the AI Learning Lab. I talk about all things AI here. If you haven't played with AI, you should. And that's what these URLs are right here. So chat.openai.com, that's the official ChatGPT website. Bing is a free version of GPT-4, which is ChatGPT, but it's connected to the internet. You can pay for access to GPT-4 at the official site, or you can get it for free at bing.com. And then po.com gives you access to a bunch of different GPT models to play with. So I think all three of those are good. And then the other two sites are just other resources. If you have questions, drop them below. I am painfully behind in my questions, so I'm trying to get to everyone, but I'm way behind. But, this is what we do here. All right. Will some of these AI systems start absorbing each other? I don't quite know what that means. I don't quite know what that means. ChatGPT and accepting file uploads to help answer specific questions. Is there another version soon? I sure hope so. So I think what you're referring to is Code Interpreter. So when you go, if you are on the plus version of ChatGPT, browse with Bing and plugins, there's going to be a new mode that if you can go to YouTube and watch videos on it called Code Interpreter. So ChatGPT Code Interpreter. Go watch videos of it and watch your face melt off your skull. So what you do with Code Interpreter is you hit the little upload button, and then you can upload anything from images to spreadsheets. You can upload like 100 megabyte data sets. And then you just say to Code Interpreter, what's interesting about this data? And it will tell you. And then you'll say, well, what are the trends within it? And it will tell you. And then you'll say, make me a map of the United States that maps all of these geolocations to the cities that they are, and make the height of the thing or the brightness or the size of the circle represent the data. And it will write the Python code, generate the map, and give it to you. It's insane. I don't know when it's coming, but I'm cranky that I can't play with it because it looks so flippin' cool. Bam! I wanted to have something help my son who has, I assume that's ADHD. The thing about ADHD is you tend to have a brain that synthesizes things really quickly. So I would put your son, if I'm reading your statement correctly here, put them in front of image generation tools. There are some really cool game AI systems where you can create 3D worlds and things like that. I'd start researching that. If he or she, son, if he's good with words, put him in front of ChatGPT, let him start playing. A product called StreamYard that gives you the ability to stream across multiple platforms at once. Yeah, I did a podcast for a year on StreamYard. I know it. It's just, I don't know. I started this TikTok channel just as a way to get the thoughts out of my head because I was getting completely overwhelmed with this AI stuff, and I thought, like, people need to know this, and I got to get this shit out of my head. This isn't really a career for me, so I mean, it might be at some point, but I don't know. I don't have a producer. If someone wants to be my producer and take on the role of, like, turning this into a multimodal media empire, cool. I've got ADHD, so it ain't gonna be me. Did live stop? Possibly lagging or network issue. My screen seems to be frozen. Am I still here? Can you still hear me? Am I back? Was that just a temporary lag? Stream interrupted. All right. I got a heart there, so I think I'm still good. Champ may have chewed the power cord. No, it's not Champ. Oh, yeah. Google was offended. Yeah, it's probably because I said Google had their head up their ass. They shut down my internet. This is, if anyone on the call is from Comcast or Xfinity, you're an asshole because it sucks. You froze. We didn't hear nothing. I don't know what I was talking about. Wait, he doesn't know. Paused for some of us. Notice that it seems... Sorry about that. You froze, dude. What's the plug-in, Dr. Kyle? You froze for 3 minutes. Oh, shit. Which plug-in? God damn it. I don't know. I'll get back to it. My head 52-year-old healthcare technology brain feels like it's going to explode. My 58-year-old... video technology entrepreneur brain feels like it's going to explode every day. I haven't been this intellectually stimulated and creatively stimulated in decades. This is absolutely wild. Hey, what's the feature you're using to share your screen? This is just normal TikTok dual camera. When you go live, you can turn on dual camera. Can you put these prompts in your bio? I don't know which prompts they are, but I'm happy to share them, or I'll put them on screen. Can I input an image and ask Bing to change it using my parameters? Not really. You can do that with Midjourney. The image generation stuff, when you want to get it really predictable, like take an image and slightly modify it, like I would say that would be better to use the generative fill in Photoshop to do that. That can probably do that. Cusses like a sailor. Yeah, ADHD and Gen Z. Oh, I'm way behind. Good Lord. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to scroll to the bottom. If I missed your question, I'm sorry. I'm just going to sort of jump to like the bottom 20 questions or something like that. So what I just showed was godmode.space. Yes, that's correct. He's good at acting. Thank you. I have a BFA in acting, so hopefully I don't suck, but They could have made a mistake. AI will use the change in reflections on the mouse to intuit the key. I think I know what you mean. So there are going to be AI systems that basically can take over your mouse for you, and your keyboard and go do things on your behalf. So basically you'll give it permission, and then you say, go book me a flight to Cancun. And it will just go to all the websites you gave it access to and find the sites, take whatever parameters you gave it. Like I want the cheapest flight, or I want the most luxurious flight, or whatever it is. And you'll give it a date range, and it will just go book the ticket for you. And then you're like, you know what? I changed my mind. Go get me a refund. And it'll go do that. So that kind of stuff's coming. That's that idea of autonomous agents. I think Apple's going to be really good at those things, by the way. What's an API or an opening IP? So an API stands for Application Programming Interface, I think, but it basically is a set of rules that says, if you want to send data to my computer, here's the rules. Or if you want to pull data from my computer, here's what you can pull from my computer, and here's the rules. And so basically, you get an API key, which is this really long string of, super secret numbers and letters that give you access to their system, so it knows it's you and that you have permission to get their data. And then you write software that says, hey, I want to go get a paper from that white paper site, and you use an API to say, hey, white paper site, can I have this week's white papers? And it'll say, sure, here they are. And so it's a way for software applications to communicate with one another. And that's so when people talk about cloud computing, you got all these different computers all talking to one another. They are very often talking to one another through APIs. Great hackers are doing that right now. You have to select one of the suggested options. Thank you, JP. I figured that out. Us old guys, we get there eventually, but I'm sure it was painful to watch, so I apologize for that. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Good night. Good night, Trouble and Pup. Great name, by the way. Trouble and Pup. I got my troubled pup right over to my left here. I would roll my API key just in case, and you don't know that website, didn't save it off. I know. I don't really give too much of a shit. I suggest making a separate API key for each service you use. I agree with you, but I'm too lazy. What's Kyle's business category called? Storyvine. Yeah, my business is called Storyvine. It's automated video production is the business category. Where do I even start? Start there. That's why I have these on screen. Is the official ChatGPT website, bing.com or po.com. All three of those give you access to ChatGPT. Just kind of different variations of them. I would start with chat.openai.com. Start by just doing parlor tricks. Have it write you a song, have it write you a poem, have it write you a meal plan, have it write you a shopping list, have it recommend, I don't know, ways to give yourself self-care. Just start playing. And then I would shift into pick a project in your life, either at work or personally, that you want to get something done and see if it can help you. Think of it like a personal assistant, like a collaborative partner for your project, and just play with it. That's where I would start. Woohoo, I'm excited. Awesome. I'm excited. I'm getting lost now. Sorry, Mika. Tell me where you were lost. I'll try to go back and get unlost because it sounded like I hung for a while there and probably confused the shit out of people because I thought I was communicating, but Xfinity said, Kyle, no, you're not talking to anyone. Okay. Frumple okay, screenshot taken. FYI, when you change your screen POV, your live pauses for 1 to 3 seconds. Oh, like when I do 5 1,000. Okay, good to know. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. Okay, I can do it. Yep. Guy, what's Kyle's business called? Storyvine. Yes, it's called Storyvine. Yep. I recorded one of your lives about making a bot. Cool. I can show you that again. You're here. I am here. Mexico. How do you record these? You can just do a screen recording if you're on iOS. I think you sort of slide down from the upper right-hand corner and there's a record button. You hit record and you can record it. And then you can send me these back and say, look what an idiot you are. Pay me money or I'll tell the world you're an idiot. And I'll be like, they already know. It's all good. Didn't freeze. Thank you. Mexico, hi. Mexicana, can you send it to us, please? Not sure what you want me to send or if you're talking to someone else. You might be talking to someone else. Okay, let's see. Check out Pessimist's Archive. Great for information. Informing AI doomsdayers. Yeah, they call the people that think AI is going to kill us all the doomers. So you got boomers and doomers. I'm definitely not a doomer. I'm an adorable optimist, is what I was called on a panel once. Let me interrupt this adorable optimism with some reality here, which I thought was cute. Robots have been about to take it all. That's funny. Okay. What's that say? Can ChatGPT create specific WordPress functionality? If I want to let a vendor sign up, can it do that? Yeah, it can. I would say make sure that you're using either Bing.com or GPT-4 connected to the internet so that it can get the latest information. And then I would just start talking about, I'm on WordPress. Here's the thing I want to accomplish. Teach me how to do it. So it'll teach you how to do it on WordPress. And then if it needs to generate any code, you can have it generate that code. So chances are good it can do that. But I would just say make sure you're using GPT-4 that's connected to the internet so that you can get the latest documentation. I saw the one that talks like a human. Yeah, there's one. It's called. What's it called? Ask Annie. Is it Ask Annie or is it? I don't know. There's something Annie, Annie. If you go to the Apple App Store, where you can just talk to this avatar and it's connected to GPT-4. It's pretty slick. There's going to be a ton of those. I think the Apple announcement on Monday, I think we're going to see something interesting from Apple on the generative agent kind of front. Give it a book title and it tells you the subject and what the book's about. So awesome. Yeah, that's cool. What about the AI that just unalived a human? Okay, so I assume what you're talking about there is the Air Force case where the media took the sensational headline and ran with it before they had any facts. They never do that. They're professionals, right? Right? Okay, so this dude in the Air Force said there was a simulation where a drone with missiles on it, was out picking targets, and then it was designed to take out the targets, and the operator said, no, come back, we don't want you to take out the targets, and it didn't like that, so it turned around and shot its missile at the operator. That's what the story was. Then they were like, no, it's a simulation. And then they were like, well, no, it wasn't actually even a simulation. It was actually just a thought experiment that could happen. Now, whether or not that actually happened, was a simulation, or was just a thought experiment, we don't know. That is a hypothetical that could happen because it's the military and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's possible some shit went down, at least in a simulation. And what does that mean? Well, it means that these tools are early. We're at the very beginning of these capabilities. Now, AI's been around for a while, but this generative AI thing, this kind of chatgpt natural language interface sitting on top of complex systems, that's relatively new. And they're going to have to work the kinks out. It's just like Tesla's full auto driving. Like, that isn't rolled out right now. You know, Elon Musk thought that would take whatever it was, 2 or 3 years, and it's been 6 or 7. This stuff's complicated. So for this stuff to get good and stable, it's going to take a while. So, but anyway, that was an over sensationalized news story, if that's what you're referring to. Do I think that some of these AI systems will start to absorb each other? Again, I don't quite know what that means. Do I dream about robots? No, I don't. Although I do kind of wake up with insights about what all this stuff means. So, do I ever think TikTok intentionally slows down? Wait, where did that go? God damn it, TikTok. I think they intentionally make me lose my place in the questions. Intentionally slows down certain traffic. Absolutely. Like, I've got some of my TikToks. I have one TikTok that's got more than 100,000 views. I have one the other day that got 1 view. So that I'm assume was a shadow ban, but then I basically duped the same thing and it got fine engagement. So yeah, they depending on the algorithm, and if I think one of the things they do is they will manually boost certain content. If they like your content, they can boost it. But yeah, it's all part of the algorithm. So I don't know. I don't worry too much about that. All this AI and your live keeps going mute. Yeah, thanks Xfinity. Thanks Comcast. You're the best. I'll give you a testimonial. I can use the Storyvine application to make a video to tell you how awesome you are. Corporate incompetence is one of my pet peeves. It makes me fucking insane. To freeze the screen like that. Wait. What's that? What do you say? To freeze the screen like that to prevent driving streams. I don't know what you're saying. Never mind. Okay. The unemployment office is full of adorable optimists. Yeah, well, I'm employed right now, so knock on wood. But it's one. No, that's me. I knocked on the desk, you dum-dum. Dumb dog. Ask Jeeve, what's the best plugin? I don't know. I haven't really played with plugins. There's so many of them. Ask Kyle. All these derivatives are going to become consolidated within 16 months. Yeah, first of all, there's going to be like tens of thousands of just little shitty pieces of software that, 6 months ago would have been remarkable, but now they're just going to be everywhere. So the signal to noise ratio is going to get stupidly bad for a while. If humans' extinction really happened, I don't know what you're saying there. Why is the reason to stop using it rather than learning about it? Yeah, exactly. I see you're conversing with one another here. I like it. I like the setting people straight, setting the doomers straight. We listen. We can have doomers here, but what I don't want are doomers here that are not actually using the technology, right? Like what drives me crazy is people that either dismiss this technology or demonize it without actually using it. That's the whole point of this channel is start using it. Start using those things. It can't have its own thoughts or emotions. It cannot. But it can communicate with you with more empathy and nuance than many humans can. So it doesn't know that it's being empathetic or nuanced, but if you ask it very binary kind of, like moral questions, things like that, it tends to be very, very nuanced in its answers, like more so than humans are. Because humans, they let the emotion take over. And if you use one of those words that, is one of the words that the political parties have decided is going to piss people off, if you use that word in your sentence, then no one hears anything you talk about. ChatGPT doesn't have that. So you can actually ask it, complicated, nuanced questions, and it will give you complicated, nuanced answers without the emotional bullshit. So it's actually quite inspiring in that front. Because I would like to live in a less polarized fucking nightmare than we are right now. Is simulation still possible? If it wasn't a fair fair possibility, it wouldn't happen in simulation. Also, thank you for responding. A simulation is still a possibility. Yeah, it's very possible that was an Air Force simulation and the drone turned around and shot the operator. At least they're doing it in a simulation. And then it's very possible that one of the communications people at the Air Force said, just tell them it was a thought experiment. Let's not put out there that our little fake robots shot our fake soldiers. Let's put that under wraps. So that's very possible. If human extinction really can happen, AI can help in many ways to keep living in a repetitive loop. Yeah, until the grid goes down. Although we'll see. If there's an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, that's probably the only way to do this is to shut down all the computers. AI has its own criteria, flawed and biased like the programmers that designed it. Yeah, and then they're going to develop. So what's going to happen with the biased stuff is you're going to have companies like Anthropic that have like constitutional rules-based models that don't have bias in them. Or, well, all systems will have bias. I think you will be able to select your bias. If you want something that leans more to the conservative side or more to the liberal side or more neutral, you'll be able to select into different models. Just we're very early right now, so all the bias stuff is in there and it's a problem, but it's gonna be addressed. So I wouldn't get anyone shouldn't get their panties too much in a twist over all that stuff. Other than it's important and it needs to be dealt with, but don't demonize the technology just because it's not perfect. The stuff that we're dealing with right now is as bad as it's ever going to be. It's going to get much better, much faster than anyone is prepared for. So I would not dismiss this stuff from a soapbox, personally. But that's just me. This is what I think. What do you think? What do you think? Well, you told me what you think. And I said, I don't like it. That's how this goes, because I'm talking and I don't know. I think I've been going too long. I'm a little giddy. I'm a little punch drunk, as they say. All right. I lost my place again. I'm trying to find it. War games. Let's see. If human extinction. Okay, we're back on the doomers. We got some doomers in here. You doomers. You just want these robots to kill us. Why don't you start using these things and start making the robots do good for humanity? Because I think it will actually have an impact on the future of these tools. Is if people are doing interesting things that contribute to society, it will inspire other people to do things that are good and interesting for society using these tools. And those good actions and those good results will start to overpower the doomers. So rather than just ramble on about how fucking evil these things are, why don't you start using them for good? ChatGPT will begin buying interesting startups and incorporating them. You mean OpenAI? Yes, probably. I think ChatGPT will go away eventually as Bing gets more developed. Why would Microsoft keep them both? Because Microsoft doesn't own it all. They own 49%. OpenAI is free to compete with Microsoft. OpenAI is free to cut deals with other companies. They have a very specific relationship. If OpenAI gets in trouble financially, I suppose there's a model in the future where they could acquire all of them. But that's not in the books right now. So I think they're gonna operate as co-opetition for some time. All AI is owned by BlackRock. Not true at all. Not true at all. I don't know BlackRock's stake in Google. It might be significant. So they're a significant AI player. Amazon is a significant player. OpenAI is a significant player. Microsoft is a significant player. Possible that BlackRock has... Thank you for the gift. I appreciate that. It's possible they've got ownership stakes there, but the llama models, the meta models, were leaked to the development community. So you now have an entire ecosystem of open source large language models that are not owned by anyone. They're open source and free to the world. So that's just not a true statement. Again, the sensationalist headline looks good, but it's just not true. Let me know if you want me to collaborate and make your lives into videos. Possibly. Click on my... I've got a link tree in my bio that's got my contact information in it, so drop me a line. Happy to chat about it. ChatGPT picked the Powerball numbers and I didn't play. Bye-bye, world. Gotta play to win. Oh, that sucks. If that happened, I am sorry for your loss. That sucks. The head of Twitter content security isn't. No, they're a mess right now. But I don't know. We'll see if they get this shit together. Why would you suggest to start? Oh, what would you suggest to start with? Why I have these things on screen. These are what I would suggest to start with. I would start, if you're trying to learn about AI, start with the top one, chat.openai.com. The other two are just kind of optional choices. If you really want to use GPT-4 but don't want to pay $20 a month to OpenAI, then use Bing.com. It's kind of a more hobbled version of it, but it's GPT-4 and it's connected to the internet. I would start with the large language models. Start understanding what they can do and what they make possible. And then this prompts.chat thing explains to you how to prompt, and it gives you a bunch of different prompts to start with that will run you down a bunch of rabbit holes, and you can start to see what they make possible. That's where I'd start. And then start solving problems for yourself personally or for other people or for business. And come up with a business problem and use ChatGPT as kind of a collaborative partner to solve that problem. You'll learn more doing that than... I would not suggest taking any courses right now because no one is expert at this stuff right now. Everything's changing too fast. Microsoft and Google stock and board members are held by Vanguard and BlackRock. Okay, they don't own the open source stuff. So the genie is far enough out of the bottle now that had ChatGPT not taken off and gotten to 100 million users in 6 weeks, I think we'd still be looking at Google and OpenAI being the two primary players, with other people trying to get into it. But because it did, it forced Meta to put their stuff out in the world, and then they accidentally leaked their foundational models, and those have become the foundation for all the open source stuff. And now that people know how to do that, they're building their own models and open sourcing those. So that's all coming. Stability AI just open sourced a large language model. Apple's going to come out with their thing. Amazon has said they're going to come out with one. Meta is open sourcing a bunch of their technology now. Google's got theirs. OpenAI's got theirs. Anthropic's got theirs, which they're going to be a major player in this thing. So you've got, 3 or 4 major players that are probably owned by Vanguard and BlackRock, but then you've got a bunch of others, plus the open source community that are not. There's enough competition out there that I don't think it's going to consolidate into 1 or 2 controlled companies. I just don't. I just don't. But I could be very, very wrong. I don't know geopolitics and big money very well. ChatGPT will even tell you that. Oh, okay. I don't understand people who are afraid to try ChatGPT or TikTok. Well, I was afraid to get on TikTok for a while, and then I was just like, fuck it one night. I took 4 hours or whatever to figure it out. It's the worst interface, but, here I am. Hey. All right. I know a wonder useful app that uses ChatGPT for Android and has no ads. Okay. I would not recommend using any apps that act like ChatGPT. I would just point my Chrome browser to chat.openai.com. Jeffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI. Yep, he signed on to that new thing today that, we don't want these machines to extinct us. But I don't want to expose it. Okay, I don't know what that says. Thanks for letting me know. It was a simulation. That's important, but my concern still stands. Yeah, I know. Listen, JB, the minute you start attaching flying machines with missiles on them to be controlled by generative AI, like Boston Dynamics has agreed not to put guns on their scary dancing backflipping robots. But they're a commercial robot company. There are others, like, say, Lockheed Martin, that are probably developing robots for the military that have not agreed to not put weapons on them. So I agree, it's kind of terrifying. But, hopefully they will keep the military things where they belong and not let that shit escape. So I understand why the doomers are here. It's very easy to put together scenarios where you go, well, what if it did this? Well, you'd be like, well, they were fucked. so you can make up those scenarios. Again, I'm just trying to live over here. It makes pretty pictures. You can write a poem about quantum mechanics. Oh, good Lord. It's just comedy. Comedy. What's the Bing image generation site? Is bing.com/create. So if you're talking about self-manifestation, or what's it called? So you're talking about self-manifestation, or what's it called? Oh, I think you're talking amongst yourselves. Bend it to the light. Yes, bend it to the light. Go to the light. There's Hollywood for 50 years has been sending us to the dark about AI. So our default is the robots are going to kill us. Consciously head toward the light. Why do so many people think negatively? They basically create the destiny. Exactly. That's why I'm saying every little thing that you can do, if you do something for your church community group and help organize the bake sale and have ChatGPT help you organize the bake sale, and then you tell people, hey, I used this ChatGPT thing to help organize the bake sale, that'll be one more positive thing in the world. And it's like one more chink in the armor of sort of knocking down that negative destiny future. So that's why this channel exists. That's why we're gathered here today. That's exactly it. I'm actually trying to decentralize health system, but I'm not very knowledgeable on deploying. I work in healthcare. Health systems are dramatically complicated. And the thing about health systems is, A, there's regulations, and then B, there's just inertia. Just because you have a better solution does not mean people want to change. But I work with a lot of people in health tech, and it's a laudable effort, but boy, is it frustrating because it's very, very slow. The hierarchy of AI ownership is the real threat to society. Okay, yeah. Again, like I said, 6 months ago, I would absolutely agree with that statement, and I would be living in a cynical place. But because of what's happened in the past 6 months, there's a different dynamic happening. There are too many people developing too many systems, and there's too many competitors, and there's too much money coming into the system. Now, might it consolidate back to the whoever becomes the Google of the future? Yeah, it might in 20 years. But there's going to be some massive shakeup before then, and I don't think the BlackRocks of the world can control everything for the next 20 years. The water is going to squeeze through their fingers. What is the internet? A great success or the downfall of mankind? Well, what it is a technology that lets us communicate faster. How we've used it has poisoned us. I think that generative AI just might help us get out from the other side of that. That's my thought. I think social media and the consolidation of power between Google and Facebook, that consolidation where we gave up all of our data and they manipulated the shit out of us. There's a shakeup happening right now. And, the fact that Microsoft is a tangible threat to Google on their search business, that's a pretty big shakeup. So I think the next 5 years are going to be quite interesting. The idea of whoever lost their jobs with AI, they can only be an operator of AI is true. I don't quite know what that means. Oh, meaning do you need to use AI to keep your job? I think having some level of competence with AI is going to be a prerequisite. And here's why. Right now, AI kind of lives off to the side of the business world, right? You've got ChatGPT living at that website. But because it's in Bing, because it's going to be rolled into Windows, because it's going to be rolled into Office 365, because it's going to be rolled into, Bard is going to be rolled into all of the Google Office suite. So those are your two primary sort of business productivity tools. Everything's going to be AI powered, AI amplified. So it's not going to be an option. People are going to have to learn it, and those people that resist it and don't learn it are going to be subsumed by the people who do learn it and get 30 to 50 to 100% more efficient than their counterparts. It's going to be a law of survival thing. I know an easier way to get started with ChatGPT and you don't have to sign up. No, just go sign up. It's worth signing up. Are you in Southern California? I'm in Denver, Colorado. Denver, Colorado. Come on down. But I'm a New Yorker by heart. I miss the East Coast something terribly. I ache for the East Coast. So imagine AI controlled by our current overlords. Our current overlords don't even know what the fuck Wi-Fi is and how it works. How are they going to deal with this shit? Can government nationalize AI under the pretext of security? They could have had it not squeezed through our fingers and gotten out into the wild like it is now. But they can't anymore. If this were just OpenAI and Google were the primary players, and these smaller large language models couldn't compete, then I would say yes. But the hacking community or the engineering community has taken these really small models that were not very powerful, and they've fine-tuned them in a way that they're as good or close to as good as ChatGPT is, or as GPT 3.5. And I think there's some that are close to GPT-4 now, for like $100 that you're going to be able to install these things on your phone and your computers, and you're not going to need an internet access, and you're not going to need GPU farms. So I don't think the government can actually put the genie back in the bottle at this point. Any thoughts on using AI to increase personal human intelligence? Yeah, start using this shit. You'll get smarter faster. You can learn fucking anything you want to learn and have it, at your fingertips like that. I mean, have it write you a lesson plan. Have it teach you daily some new thing. Yes. Yeah, and if you're talking about things like Neuralink and actually, sort of doing things in a more automated way, give that one 5 to 10 years. But right now, these tools are remarkable for that. You're now a TikTok star. Thank you. I like to refer to myself as an influencer. Other people just call me Fat Alec Baldwin. They also called me Rosie O'Donnell today. You look like Rosie O'Donnell. I'm like, oh, that's a compliment, right? I don't think that's a compliment. I'm pretty sure that's a troll. AI says it's bedtime. Thanks for the excellent information. Good night. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna go soon too. I'm getting a little punchy. I'm getting a little tired. I'm a little tired. You know what I mean? If you ask ChatGPT, red flags of political sectarian cult in the U.S. is a cult. Okay, I don't quite know what that means, but that's pretty funny. All right, I'm a long COVID person. I'm taking coding programs to try and find something from home. Your thoughts? I've got long Lyme patients in my house, so I sympathize and empathize with your situation. That sucks really bad. The good news is, thanks to COVID, is that where you are geographically is absolutely irrelevant in most cases now, even though a lot of companies are saying we got to go back to the office. I mean, I work in a killer office space here in Denver, and it's a fucking ghost town. A lot of people are not coming back to the office. Some are forcing it, but not many. So I think you've got an advantage there. I would learn coding, but I would also learn like AI amplified coding. So if you're coding, learn GitHub. If you're not already doing that, learn GitHub Copilot so that you're doing pair programming with AI. Start learning about prompt engineering. Start learning what these tools make possible. Start learning the ChatGPT plugin infrastructure, because right now, just getting your head around how remarkably capable these tools are compared to how we used to do things, like that gap is dramatic, and I don't think people realize that. I think they think it's like it's like incrementally better than how we used to program. No, it is paradigm shifting in how different it is, and how when these tools start to get more sophisticated, the requirement of an engineer to write a software application is going to diminish over time. And what's going to happen is you're going to have increasingly dynamic software platforms that you just ask it to do something for you, and it will figure it out and figure out which tools or plugins it needs to use, and it'll dynamically assemble applications for you. So that's kind of the long-term vision of this. So I would do everything you can to get your head around the shift that's coming and try to be on the front end of that. And then I would do things like, as you start learning about AI, put prompt engineering in your LinkedIn profile. Start putting posts up there about what you're learning and how you're learning it and why you're learning it. And you'll start to build a brand for yourself where people understand that, Anthony actually, knows something about this. Like, I've started getting that where people are reaching out to me now. Hey, Kyle, we haven't talked in a bunch of years. It seems like you know a little bit about this AI stuff. I just got fired because I don't know AI. Could you help me with that? Like I would rather be the guy getting that call than the guy making that call. So that's what I would do. Oh my God, you're the best at this mastermind AI for good. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I've done research into American health system, and it's a gaslighting system. So they neglect it's the American healthcare system is criminally bad. It's not just bad; it's criminally bad. It is. I can't. When I talk about it, I get heart palpitations, which I can't afford to go to the doctor to take care of. Get it? No, I don't. It's an awful system. People and shows that through his actions. People, I don't know what that means. Okay. He even sold Mexico's. Okay. All right. You're having conversations amongst yourself, which is cool. Look at you, full of hope and optimism. Adorable optimism. What did you do between the afternoon and this minute? I went to Costco. I did some weeding and put some black tarp down on the weeds because it's been raining here in Denver for like 3 weeks straight, which it just doesn't do. It's like East Coast kind of weather patterns. And so the weeds are fucking going crazy because they're used to living in a desert where they don't get much rain. And so when they get a little bit of rain, they go fucking crazy. So that's what I've been doing. And then I watched some NASCAR racing. And then I got on here. All right. But the darkness does not like the light because the light exposes who they really are. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully enough of this AI shit has squeezed through the cracks that they can't control everything, but we'll see. The powers that be are quite strong, and, they'll do what they can to stay in power. I think the death throes of the power centers, as the power centers start to shift because of AI, I think the death throes of these companies and organizations and governments are going to be quite painful and bizarre. Government being completely ignorant has its advantages. Yeah, I agree with that. But, with some of this stuff, like hopefully they can get their shit together because it does need some oversight and some intelligence, which I know is not necessarily what our government, or any government for that matter, is good at, is the intelligence piece, but whatever. All right, I'm going to do a few more questions and then I'm going to go. I'm going to leave you people. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to just go. I'm going to do it. You don't look like Rosie O'Donnell, more like a thin John Goodman. All right, I've gotten Fat Alec Baldwin, thin John Goodman, and Rosie O'Donnell today. That's good. I'll take the thin John Goodman. That's a good one. What did I get the other day? I got, who's the one that was like John Goodman? Rosie O'Donnell's, was it Rosie? No, Roseanne Barr's ex-husband, whatever the hell his name is. That's really funny. Good night. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and all your punchlines. Thank you. I appreciate it. We need to convert vacant office space into housing for homeless or vertical farms. I was thinking about that you could do container farming inside commercial buildings and have local farming centers, throughout cities. So you have local organic produce produced, without having to truck it around. I think that could be a really interesting use of it. Long COVID, go to Dr. Bean on YouTube. Interesting. Kyle needs to be done. Wait, Kyle needs to do one-on-one counseling. Thank you. And now I've been called mentally ill. Awesome. Correct. It's a genocidal medical system. It is. Never heard that term before. I'm curious. Not sure what that means. You need to tell Kyle your idea. Cool. I'll listen to your idea. Okay, great. I'm near Denver. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm in Denver. Yeah, drop me a line. I've been feeling amazing. I don't need... Okay. All right. I think I'm at the bottom of the things here. All right. I'm going to take off. Have a good Saturday night, everybody. It's been a while here. Love listening to you chatting. You should invite cool users to chat live. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. One of the things that sucks when I bring someone up live, it kills my dual camera thing, which is just a pain in the ass. But yeah, I'll do that more. I should bring people up because I've got enough like as I'm doing these lives, I'm starting to see, regular people over and over again. So I think it might be good to have actual conversations rather than just me rambling. But anyway, I appreciate all your time and attention and all that sort of stuff. For the pain in the ass, use Vaseline. I think that's a fine message to end on. Y'all are swell. Peace out.